All right, as rumblings in the grand old party, the problems within the Congress party are just unending. From Punjab in the north to Karnataka in the south, Congress party continues to firefight the rumblings within the state leaderships. This comes just ahead of the crucial assembly elections stated to take place both in the states in Karnataka as well as Punjab. First in Punjab, then in Karnataka in just a few months from now. First, take a quick look at a detailed report on what is happening within the Congress party.
4 big leaders, 2 big states, 1 big party in dangerous chaos. In poll-bound Punjab and in Karnataka, the Congress has flown into super turbulence. Let's start with the political potboiler of the season, Punjab, the Congress's lonely outpost in the north. The bruising battle between Chief Minister Amrinder Singh and celebrity Neta Navjot Singh Sidhu has escalated and the gloves are truly off. After weeks of shadow play, high-level Congress committees and flights back and forth between Chandigarh and Delhi, Sidhu has just made his most direct attack on the man whose political career he wants to finish. Sidhu says he wants to change the system that does not give back the power of the people to the people.
System ने एक फटी ला था मेरे ऑफिस के बाहर, Minister for Renewable Energy and Power. मैं कहता system which has rejected all my proposals for the welfare of the people of Punjab, I will reject that system. I said no.
Amidst the latest escalation, Captain Amrinder has once again landed in Delhi to meet party chief Sonia Gandhi on Tuesday. As chaos reigns, Rahul Gandhi remains conspicuous by his invisibility. While Sidhu is seen to be close to Rahul, Amrinder's past frictions with the Gandhi heir apparent are well known. In this high-stakes game, is the Congress's Punjab election machinery being distracted and diverted with only months to go for the assembly polls? Sadly for the Congress, Punjab isn't the only state of chaos. All isn't well in Karnataka either, where State Congress President DK Shivakumar has dashed to Delhi to meet Rahul Gandhi for reassurance that Shivakumar alone will be the Congress's chief ministerial face in the 2023 election. The emergency action by Shivakumar was triggered by Congress MLA Zameer Ahmed, who's been repeatedly highlighting Siddaramaiah as the future chief minister.
We will fight the election on collective leadership. My party high command will decide who has to be the leader. No one has the voice or strength to announce any leadership issue.
Even as the Congress turns the screws on the Modi government over a slew of substantive issues, from COVID handling to fuel and price rise to the state of the economy, is the ground shaking beneath its own feet thanks to its own people in the party? Is the Congress cursed to be left firefighting and lurching from one crisis to the next, instead of consolidating into a powerful opposition force? Bureau Report, India Today.
And imagine all this from within and from outside, the people in the Congress party losing the confidence, and also outside there seems to be a grouping coming together of the anti-Congress opposition. I'll get to that story in just a short while from now, but let me first of all go across to my colleagues. Manjeet Saigal, who's joining us from Chandigarh, to get a sense of what is happening within the Congress in Punjab. And Nolan Pinto is from Bengaluru to give us a sense of how the Congress now plans, in fact, to try and quell the recent voices of dissent. Manjeet, coming to you first. It is now as clear and out in open as it could be. It's either going to be Navjot Singh Sidhu or Captain Amrinder Singh. One of them has to prevail for the Congress to even have a fighting chance in the upcoming elections in the state of Punjab.
You rightly said, the dissidents in Punjab Congress is not going to win. Both the leaders, be it Navjot Singh Sidhu or the Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh, are asserting themselves to be the faces of 2022 Assembly elections. Now, the efforts made by the three-member Congress panel have not borne any fruit. Meanwhile, both the leaders are in a new duo. We are hearing Navjot Singh Sidhu openly attacking the Chief Minister, saying that Chief Minister has failed on all fronts as a Home Minister and as head of the Congress government in Punjab. He is raising questions on sand mafias, land mafias, cable mafias and various types of mafias, in saying that mafias have been ruling in Punjab and Punjab government has failed to fulfill the poll promises made to the people. Now elections are coming and people will start questioning the Congress as it has failed to fulfill almost all the poll promises. Now the ball is in the court of the party high command, which has summoned both the leaders.
But what are the options for the party high command? Both these leaders are using all tactics available to them, every pressure tactic, to make sure that their voices are heard as far as the party high command is concerned. A big question is, can Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, the Gandhis, are they in a position right now to in fact broker some sort of a truce between both these leaders? And will that truce be enough to sail the Congress through in Punjab? Let me very quickly go across to Bengaluru, where Nolan is waiting for us. Nolan, it's very clear, right? The swords are out. DK Shivakumar versus Siddaramaiah. Both of them are using their people to attack each other. And this game is going on for a long time. While the rumblings are within the BJP as well, for a Congress party right now to consolidate seems to be a distant dream.
Well, Ankit, what you said is right. In fact, during the entire lockdown, even the COVID first wave, the second wave, if only Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar worked together, they could have actually improved the chances of the Congress party in Karnataka. But that is not happening over here because both of them are poles apart. Both are working against each other. No doubt when they come out, they go out together. But internally, there is a lot of trouble. Their cadres are separate. Their MLAs are supporting them are separate. And that is the reason why DK went over there. He talks about organizational changes. But the main issue is this. There are so many MLAs coming out in the open supporting Siddaramaiah, saying that when the next elections take place, if the Congress wins, it is Siddaramaiah who should be the chief minister. So if they cannot manage this, it's a plus point for the BJP, regardless of the problems they have.
Regardless of the problem the BJP is facing. And that has been a problem with the Congress party, just not in the state of Karnataka or in any other state, but all across the country. And that is where, in fact, the opposition seems to be feeling let down. Other parties feeling let down as far as the Congress is concerned because they can't set their own house in order. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this evening. Very important, and staying with Navjot Singh Sidhu, ladies and gentlemen, at this moment. I just want to very quickly just bring out some options. What is it that Navjot Singh Sidhu, because you remember Punjab is Congress rule and it's very important because the elections are going to be held as early as March next year. Now, what are the options for Navjot Singh Sidhu in this entire drama in Punjab? Stay in the Congress party, become possibly haggle, fight, become the deputy chief minister and muster support within the party, because at this point of time, Captain seems to be in a stronger position despite these, voices coming in against him, because Sidhu has not been able to get the support of maximum number of the Congress MLAs or a significant number of the Congress MLAs. Other option for Navjot Singh Sidhu, and it's a big probable option. Join the Aam Aadmi Party, become the face. Aam Aadmi Party, which fought a very significant election last time in Punjab in 2017, once again trying to build base. And I'll tell you what Arvind Kejriwal was doing in Punjab today. But before that, they are still looking for a face that can propel them from a party which is in the fight to a party which is really looking at the Vidhan Sabha of Punjab. And Sidhu could be that face. He's mercurial. There have been, on and off, we are talking today and not talking tomorrow kind of a relationship between Navjot Singh Sidhu and Arvind Kejriwal as well. But if they come together, that possibly is a win-win situation for both Navjot Singh Sidhu and the Aam Aadmi Party. Third option for Navjot Singh Sidhu is form his own party with support from anti-farmer, with the anti-BJP, Akali, Congress, with all the farmer agitation which is going on. They come out and some organizations support Navjot Singh Sidhu where he can make some sort of a dent. But will that be enough to propel him to power? And many believe that this would only divide the anti-Captain Amrinder Singh vote and possibly will help the Congress party. But these are the three possible options. Whether he can still go back to the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is already losing a lot of support as far as the state of Punjab is concerned, that would be a very, very risky option. But let me go across now to Rahul Shrivastava, our National Affairs Editor, because Rahul, Captain Amrinder Singh is going to be here tomorrow. He will once again present a very robust side of maximum support that he has as far as the MLAs is concerned. Where does this leave Navjot Singh Sidhu and where does this leave the politics of Punjab? Can Sidhu be detrimental if he comes out of the Congress party in the defeat of the Congress there?
Ankit, if you see, I will say that the Punjab politics is going through a churn. There is realignment of forces and leaders happening. But if you say that there are some very clear, black and white, cut and dried kind of solutions ahead for all the leaders, I don't think that the picture is very clear. You see, if you see Navjot Singh Sidhu, what he has said in the last 24 hours, he says that he campaigned in 56 constituencies. He won, and the Congress won in 53 of them. In the Maha region, he campaigned in 24, the party won 23. If you see what he is saying, that out of the 80 seats, 53 were won because of him. Now, that's not a claim to become a deputy chief minister or a Punjab chief minister, Punjab party chief. I think he's presenting himself or positioning as the man who will be the chief ministerial face after Amrinder Singh. I don't think it is for the low-hanging fruit like some posts right now, because there is hardly any time. And if he actually accepts those posts, he will be accepting Amrinder Singh's suzerainty or Amrinder Singh's dominance, that he is a bigger leader. And that is why, if you see, his attack is not just on ordinary things. He's attacking Amrinder Singh, saying that he and Akalis are on the same page.
Yes.
They are two families running the state.
Yes.
The liquor mafia attack, the sacrilege case attack. Sidhu is positioning himself for tomorrow. Arvind Kejriwal, on the other hand, is getting in people involved in the sacrilege case. He's positioning in that Doab, Malwa, Maha region, where he did relatively better. Akalis have already tied up with the BSP, with which it had an alliance in 1996.
Okay.
Won 11 of the seats, 8 Akalis and 3 BSP,
right.
Although there is no Kashi Ram now. The fact is, everybody seems to be realigning. The only loser seems to be the BJP right now.
The BJP, at least one consensus, is in this entire race very, very far behind as in terms of the political combination and permutations in Punjab. Rahul, stay on with me, because as Rahul was talking about Arvind Kejriwal, he was in Punjab today. And he, in fact, the Aam Aadmi Party chief, went there for a significant joining for the Aam Aadmi Party. Former IPS officer Kumar Vijay Pratap Singh, who was part of the SIT probing the 2015 Kakpura police firing incident in Punjab, has joined the Aam Aadmi Party. He was inducted in the presence of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, who travelled to Amritsar specifically for this. Now, Punjab Chief Minister Amrinder Singh had initially refused to accept the resignation of Kumar Vijay Pratap Singh, who otherwise was to retire in 2029 and was seen close to Amrinder Singh. But when the former IG rank officer remained firm, the Chief Minister had to accept his premature retirement request. Now, Kejriwal during the visit also made it clear that party CM face will be from the Sikh community and urged the people to give Aam Aadmi Party a chance.
कुंवर विजय प्रताप जी नेता नहीं है, ना इनके माँ बाप नेता थे, ना इनके दादा परदादा नेता थे, तो ये पॉलिटिकल परिवार से नहीं आते। मैं भी नेता नहीं हूँ, ये भी नेता नहीं है, हमारी नेताओं की पार्टी नहीं है, हमें राजनीति करनी नहीं आती, हम सब देश के लिए आए हैं, समाज के लिए आए हैं। और उसी भावना के साथ आज कुंवर विजय प्रताप जी आम आदमी पार्टी में शामिल हो रहे हैं। आम आदमी पार्टी का पंजाब का सीएम फेस सिख समाज से होगा, क्योंकि हमें ये लगता है कि पूरी दुनिया के अंदर पंजाब ही एक ऐसा स्टेट है जिसका सीएम सिख समाज से है। हमारा ये मानना है कि ये सिख समाज का हक है और ये हक उनके पास ही रहेगा।
अगर वो ज्वाइन करते हैं वो तो उनकी मर्जी है, वो जो भी डिसीजन लें, जिस पार्टी में जाएं वो तो उनकी मर्जी है। लेकिन सारा केस जो भी इतना मजबूती से जो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट थी, जहां लोगों की भावना थी, उस केस को हाई कोर्ट ने बिल्कुल खिरे सिरे से खारिज कर दिया।
I can tell you for sure, after speaking to multiple sources, that at least all kind of doors and all kind of possibilities in the state of Punjab are still on, and the next few months are going to be very, very important. I want to shift focus to another Congress, in fact, story, but this one from the state of Maharashtra. All seems not be going well as far as the Maha Vikas Aghadi in Maharashtra is concerned. The latest bone of contention between the Congress and the Shiv Sena is the next chief minister face of the coalition. And I don't know why they're talking about it in 2021 when the elections are still away in 2023. Both parties have now indulged in a war of words over the going solo, in fact, in 2024 elections. The latest rumbling comes after Congress with Prithviraj Chauhan, on the occasion of Rahul Gandhi's birthday, said Congress should contest independently and next chief minister will be of the party. Prithviraj's statement didn't go down well with Shiv Sena. In an editorial in Samna, Sena hit out at Chauhan, saying it was due to Prithviraj, Congress NCP lost their 15-year-old government to the BJP. Sena also advised the Congress party that nothing is wrong in contesting alone, but one must watch its ground before doing that. So Congress, slightly uneasy in more than one state. In a big jolt, and this could be possibly one formation that could shape up in the year or so to come. Stage is all set, possibly for a Congress Mukt opposition in 2024. At least that is what political pundits believe. Nationalist Congress Party Chief Sharad Pawar will chair a meeting of the National Forum members at his residence tomorrow. The meeting comes at a time when NCP Chief held a meeting with Prashant Kishore for the second time in less than a week. The Nationalist Forum, established by TMC leader Yashwant Sinha and Shatrughan Sinha, has leaders from more than 12 political parties as members. The leaders will be discussing current economic and political situation in the country. At least that is what has been told to the media. But sources do say that this has more significant, in fact, signals coming in as far as this meeting is concerned. Now, all opposition parties except the Congress would be coming in under the leadership of Sharad Pawar tomorrow in the national capital. And this could be a significant sign for 2024 elections. With the Congress losing ground and credibility of a principal opposition party, clamour is growing louder for emergence of an alliance to take on the Modi-Shah juggernaut. Rahul Shrivastava joining us with more details on this. Rahul, this is very interesting, right? When the first time in about 10 days back, when Sharad Pawar and Prashant Kishore met, both of them came out and said it's a courtesy call. Second time, possibly their PR team would not be able to give the courtesy call spin because it is followed by a meeting of all opposition parties. Is Prashant Kishore hoping that he would be able to get all his former clients together to present a challenge to Narendra Modi minus the Congress party?
Ankit, one really doesn't know exactly what Prashant Kishore is trying to do. But if the fallout of his meeting with Sharad Pawar is a meeting led by Sharad Pawar of opposition forces, then one can safely say at least that there is an attempt to bring all opposition parties to the BJP on the same page. Now, what has happened, Ankit, if you see that the COVID-19 issue, the economic slide, and the losses suffered by the BJP, especially I think the COVID response in the second surge, somewhere within the opposition and among political pundits, there is a feeling that the BJP is on the decline. The sheen has gone off, or the Teflon coating on Mr. Narendra Modi has taken a crack. Now, in that scenario, if you see 2019, it was a godsend election for the BJP. 2014 was, of course, a wave against the Congress and the opposition. 2019 was good because at that time, the opposition's key party, Congress, was very weak and the opposition was divided.
Right.
Now, the Congress stayed weak, but the opposition unity is being taken care of. So that's one positive as far as this meeting is concerned. But can it succeed without a Congress?
Okay.
Certainly not, Ankit. I don't think so. No coalition against Narendra Modi can be successful without a strong central party. And that remains the weakness of this measure.
That remains the weakness of this measure, and we have seen how third fronts in the past also largely haven't been able to form a very formidable, in fact, alliance, a long-term alliance to challenge whatever the stronger party at that point of time was. Thank you so much, Rahul, for joining us and giving us perspective on this story. A quick break at this moment. On the other side,